What's up, guys? I don't know if you guys can see me clear. And today I wanted to talk a little bit about somebody had a question about jobs, the jobs in America. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that. So uh, most of the jobs you get, you don't really need experience, Uh, I mean, it's a little bit different, like compared to many countries outside. But most of the jobs you do not need experience. Mostly what they do, the employers, you say like the companies or factories, they train their employees. So the thing is, the jobs, the jobs, there are all kinds of jobs. So mostly when you go into the medical field, like hospitals, there are places they call nursing homes. That's where like mostly they take care of the senior citizens, older people who cannot be able to, they are old, they need medications, they need people to assist them, daily living. So mostly in the medical field you find there's like if you're starting from the top, there's maybe the doctors, there's the nurse, there's the CNA. CNA is like certified nurse assistant, they assist the nurse, then uh, still in the medical setup, you find housekeepers, those guys who clean around the rooms, they take out the trash. Uh, same setup. You find cooks, or people who cook for the residents or the people who live in nursing homes. You find maybe if they have a gate going into the facility, you find a guy, a watchman, a guy who's at the gate, security, uh and yes, so those are the people you find in the medical facility. So you find a job if you want to, if you want to clean. There's also the guy like technician, a guy who fixes, let's say, electric issues, or just basic maintenance stuff. They do that. So that's in the medical setup. So you find a doctor, nurse, nurse assistant, cooks, or housekeepers. So that's in the medical field. Those are the jobs you find, and mostly, let's say, depending, and it depends. The pay depends on the state or the facility. Cities, there's a lot of factors that determine how much you get paid. Some places they pay more because of the cost of living. Some places, you say, I want a job in the entertainment industry. Yeah, I mean, we'll go back to that, but let me answer your question. I mean, if you want a job in the entertainment business, yes, there is a lot of need for videographers, there's a lot of musicians who need videos, people, YouTubers, motivation speakers, all those people, they need videos. So videography, if you have the right connections, there are people who need that. There are people who need other people to follow them and record them. Then also, if you're saying, you mentioned programming, yes, that's a very, I mean, they need programmers everywhere, man. Technology is changing. That's the good thing about technology, changing. They need new codes to be written. They need new system to be installed. So it's those jobs. There's a lot of them. I meet a lot of people who are in IT, and they make a lot of money. IT programming, nowadays most things are based on the internet, so you need people who are behind the scenes, fixing those errors, writing codes, setting up websites. So those the jobs, man, it's a lot of them. If you're willing to work and get them, you get them. uh yeah, even yes, those lighting and all that, if you're talking in terms of lighting, like let's say a concert or venues, yes, those all those things, those jobs, they is a lot of them, but mostly the IT jobs, they are really really high paying jobs. So there are people it's showing some poor connection. So I'll proceed once the connection, okay, it's back. So mostly with those IT jobs, there are people who are earning more than 150,000 a year, and it all depends with the state you go to. It can you can start as low as 40,000 a year, but it depends on what because IT, computer science, and programming. Those things are really broad. And there's some you can specialize. There are people who specialize in specific areas. So you know. But programming jobs, they really pay a lot, and most of the time there's a lot of programming schools or schools which will teach you. Over here they have like trade schools. If you, let's say, you want to be, I'll keep pausing when the connection is poor, because I don't know if the reception on the other side will be uh, so when the connection comes back, I proceed talking. So the so they have those trade schools. You say you want to be a carpenter, you want to be an electrician, you want to deal with HVAC. uh you go to a trade school. They'll teach you that. They specify. It's not like you have to go to a 4-year college and study all this theory and you're not doing any practical. So the trade school, mostly it's like a fast track to get an employment. An electrician, you go 6 8 months. They partner you up with somebody. So you shadow somebody and you learn the tricks, and the next thing you know, they hire you, and you have a job within a year or so. So in those trade schools, they've enabled a lot of people. Plumbing too. uh yes. I mean, yeah, about the corporate lighting and those events, yeah, those things, all those jobs are over here, man. So the trade school, they partner you up. They'll help you, they'll teach you, train you hands on. So it's not theory. I mean, there's theory involved, but it's hands on. They are fast tracking you into employment, a job, getting a job. you know so after you graduate, they connect you with an employer, and you get a job and start working, and you start making money. And which a lot of people have used that trade schools, because they'll help you if you don't want to spend 4 years or 6 years in college trying to study theory. Then after that, you go and find a job. So trade school is like pushing you really fast. 6 months, 8 months, you're out of here, you get a job, you start making money. So that's another thing. So mostly, even those programming jobs or IT jobs, all those system, those packages, there's a lot of uh, places or schools they're offering that, and they'll be able to help you find a job too. So the other job is, so mostly is I'll mention the job. So there's the valet job. uh Mostly, depending on the state, they'll pay you an average of maybe $8 an hour or $9 an hour. So you can convert that into your home currency, and they'll give you full time. Depending on the location, they'll give you full time. Full time is like 40 hours, or they might give you part time. Part time is not full time. So if full time is 40 hours, maybe part time you might get 16 hours, 20 hours, depending also on the location. And the valley job is where, let's say, there's like a country club, a golf club, where people go. It's membership only, or there's you find them in hotels, or you find them in events or outside nightclubs. So those guys, they wait outside for people, maybe people who have money, or just regular people, and you don't wanna you just want to get into the nightclub and get in. You just hand over your keys to the valet guys. They'll go and park your vehicle for you. Then they'll give you a ticket. Then when you come back, you leave the place. They'll bring your vehicle to you. And so there's a lot of mostly young guys that they try and do that, because mostly when you park vehicles for those guys, they'll give you nice tips, even so apart from you're making that money, you're getting paid by an hour, you're still making money from tips. Those guys are giving you tips, and they'll give you good money. So I mean, for me, I've tried a lot of things. I remember there was a time I did that valet, and it was a lot of money. So especially those country club guys, they have a lot of money. They are pulling up in Bentleys. They are pulling up in Mercedes Benz, BMWs, all those high end vehicles. They just pull up, you say hi to them, blah blah this, maybe open the door, you give them the ticket where you ride the vehicle, and you go park their vehicle. When they come back, you bring them their vehicle, and most they give you tips. So people will give you $20 tips, others will give you 40, depending on how they're feeling. Others will give you even $100 tips. So in a day, you might go home with over I mean, from your regular pay. Let's say, I remember that time it was like $8 an hour. So if you're doing like let's say you're doing 8 hours, that's 64 dollars. Then they give you tips. The tips might go up to over 100. So on a good day, you're taking home over $200. You guys do the math in your home country. $200, that's a lot of money for maybe somebody you're starting up, and so you do that over and over. So those are the valet guys. So you pull up, they park the vehicles for you. That's one. So the other one is these other ones, the ticket booth attendants. So these are the guys, parking is a big thing in America. So you have all these people. You have to be organized. People need somewhere to park their vehicles. It has to be organized. So most of the buildings, they'll have like a basement. It's set aside for parking, or they have the top floors or the first three floors, or they even have an entire building which is set up for parking. So when you're entering, yeah, $200, that's like a month's pay. Yeah, in Kenya, yeah, that's a lot of money. But hey, it's like every day. So you do that for a whole month. You're making $200, and you do it a whole month. So, yeah, you're looking at big money, but then you gotta understand, you gotta put in that place. You gotta know that money is still going to, the cost of living. You're paying bills and all that. So at the end of the day, even though you're making all that money is going somewhere. That's one thing you need to understand, because some people are like, man, you're making $200 a day, that's a lot of money in Kenya. But then again, maybe their car insurance needs over 200 a month. So that day, that pay for a day is gone. Maybe you need to put gas in your vehicle. I mean gasoline. Maybe in a month you're spending $300. So maybe you need to make a payment for your vehicle. Maybe it's $350. So you see, even though you're making all that money is going somewhere. So those ticket booth attendants, so you entering the garage to park your vehicle. So they are there at the gate. They open the gate for you. They give you you take a ticket when you're going in there. So they let me get some water, guys. So you get a ticket when you're going in. So when you leave in the garage, they'll charge you. You give them the ticket, and they are the one who are gonna. They have a machine over there. It might tell how much it is, how much you need to pay. Some others, they don't have attendants. They're just automated. They just, you put in the ticket, tells you the amount. If you have a credit card, you pay, and you leave the garage. So that's a ticket booth attendant. So the other one is housekeeping. Housekeeping it involves a lot of stuff. Housekeeping, you can be maybe in a corporate office. After those guys leave for the day, they need somebody to go vacuum the carpet. They need somebody to take out the trash. They need somebody to wipe down the chairs, wipe down for dust, wipe the windows, keep them clean. Um, that's housekeeping. They need somebody to mop the floor. So mostly that's housekeeping. It can be in a liquor store, it can be in a banks needs to be cleaned too, it can be in a hospital. So that's general housekeeping. And mostly depending on where you're working, the average is like $8 an hour. Also it depends on where you're working. Like if you're working in a corporate, if you're working in a corporate, like you're cleaning a corporate you know building, the pay might go as high as maybe $11.50. Yeah, they love doing that. You're like, why are you paying me? Just pay me uh a number. Don't add cents. But you find 7.25, 11.50, $12.50. So that's housekeeping. I'm not saying it's the lowest of the jobs, but yes, you're gonna be also cleaning like restroom, making sure you stack the toilet tissues, you fill up the soap and all soap dispensers and all that. And for me, I cannot say it's the lowest of the jobs, but what I would say is it's not even how much you're getting paid, it's how much you're doing with the money. Because you see, you can have two housekeeping jobs, and let's say you have there's a possibility you can have them full time, because it depends on how you plan yourself. If full time is 40 hours, you might have a job where you work 3 days, 12 hours, that's 36 hours. And some jobs you do 36 hours, they might call it full time, and pay you for the extra 4 hours to make it 40. So those are 3 days in a week. You have 7 days, so you have 4 more days. You can find a job where you may be working 10 hours, and you're working 4 days, that's 40 hours, that's full time. So you can have how do I land myself that which how do I land myself that which no, I'm not saying for me. Let me tell you, okay, it depends on how, maybe, how you are, what you consider low class. But for me, um I wouldn't say it's a low class job. I wouldn't say there is a low class job, because think about it. If you need something that costs $100, and you get it from somebody who working in IT in a big office, it has cold air, smells nice. Uh, that's somebody who's making that $100, and you have somebody else who's cleaning restrooms, and that's $100, and you're buying something that's for $100. I mean, when you're going to pay for that money, for that thing you want, the the other guy, the cashier on the other side, they're not gonna look at it like, hey, you got this money from a low class job. They don't really care. They care about, hey, this is the money. You have the money. So what I'm trying to say, uh, you can make the $100 doing that job as much as you can make it doing a higher job. It's just how, maybe, comfort level or the amount of effort you need to put. If maybe you're cleaning, vacuuming, walking up and down, carrying trash, that's gonna take it takes it takes a lot of energy, while you might be seated in an office just swinging your chair, checking the computer, and you still make that money. So it doesn't mean it's the other job is a low class. It just means, like, you have to do extra. So the more paying, the more jobs, most of the paying jobs, you don't have to do a lot of extra bullshit. uh, the lowest paying jobs, I'm not gonna call them low class. You have to do extra, you have to work extra hard, and that's the nature of the world. Most people, if you're making a lot of money, people will be like, man, this guy does nothing and making all this money, while those guys who are out there, doing other crazy jobs, they're making less money. So let's proceed. So we're talking about housekeeping. So that's basically what you're gonna be doing. That job is easy to get. You just need find there are many companies. Most I'll continue. The connection keep getting poor. Once it comes back, we'll continue. Okay, so you're right on that. No, no one cares. Yeah, it doesn't matter where you get your dollar from, because think about it. You have somebody who is making 100,000. you know, a year, and they're living in a house, and their cost of living, or their lifestyle is so expensive that that money is nothing. They're spending all that money on paying staff, you know, because they have a an expensive lifestyle. While you have somebody who is making like 50,000, while their living expenses are so low, so they are able to save. If they're making 50,000, they're able to spend maybe 25,000. They have 25,000 in the bank. So you see, at the end of the day, uh, are you waiting for ninth? Man, I Star Wars? No, man. I don't. The last time I watched TV, man, I don't watch TV. Man, the last I don't know. I don't know much about what's going on in TV. The only thing I'll just be on YouTube watching the news and knowing stuff. Man, the last time I watched TV, man, it's been a long time. And maybe if I'm in restaurants and they're showing the news, yeah, that's the time I get to watch the TV. But I don't sit down and watch TV. That's just me. Maybe for you guys. So I don't know anything about Star Wars. I know what Star Wars is, and I've had those movies, but I don't subscribe to that stuff. So so you see, that guy who is making less money is able to save more because their cost of living is within, it makes sense. So it's not, it has nothing to do with how much you're making. It's about what are you doing with your money. So that's housekeeping. The other one is we have taxi drivers. We also have Uber. You make a lot of money. I've tried Uber, I've tried Lyft, for me, what I say is, for me, I don't care. Even if let's say I'm in a job, I'm making a lot of money, maybe an IT guy, or I'm fixing helicopters, money is money. If I know I'll make money doing something else, I'll do it regardless. If you're making all this money, some people are like, if they get a high paying job, they're like, man, I don't need to work any other job, I'm done. So but for me, I'm like, hey, if it's bringing money and I have that time, I'll go do it. So you see Lyft and Uber, you make a lot of money. You bring in 300 a day, so that's big money. Some nights you can bring $400 a day, so it's big money, and people are giving you tips. So that's another job. There's Uber, there's Lyft. Taxi drivers, they make a lot of money too. There's some taxi drivers who make over 500 a day. Big money, because they're also getting tips. So that's another one. That's a common job. If you don't want to get hired, some people just love being independent. They do Lyft, Uber, or they do taxi. The other jobs in transportation, truck drivers is another one. Big job, paying a lot of money. You find a lot of immigrants, because they love to be independent. They start doing driving truck. And with truck driving, I'm not gonna go deep into it, but the basics are, you wanna be a truck driver. There's a lot of truck driving school, or they'll pay for you to, they'll educate you, they'll do the skills, theory. They'll educate, teach you about the roads and all that, and they pay for everything. You just need to be in attendance. You just need to attend. They show you how to drive. They show you the regulations. Then they make sure they give you a job after you graduate. Then when you start working for them, obviously that money they used to train you were people who are working, and they had hours. So that money, they'll take some money from your paycheck, and you can continue driving with them. When you are able to pay them, then uh, you can now start making your full money, but that's a good thing. That's a job in transportation. The other one is maybe transporting the old people, bus drivers, school bus drivers, transporting kids back and forth from school back home and all that. So I might have to go in a few minutes, but I'll try speed it up. So the other jobs, mechanics, there's a lot of vehicles here. That's another good big thing. Mechanics, they make money. They'll make maybe average of $15 an hour to $20 an hour. So they fix vehicles. There's a lot of shops, for fixing vehicles. The other one is cashier jobs. I remember I've done cashier jobs before. I've done all types of jobs, man. I don't really care. I'll do anything. So, cashier jobs, people who you find them at maybe at the mall or at the gas station where they sell, they sell gas and they sell other stuff you can eat, fast food. You find them at fast food places. Most of them they average between $10 to $12 an hour. So that is cashiers. Cashiers, you think about it, you find it everywhere. um the other one is now those are like the basic. Can I get your email? I mean, yeah, you can go on, if you go, just go to the links in the description on my videos. You find maybe my Facebook, and you can go and inbox me, and you can get my email address. Yeah, you just be able to get in contact with me. So those are the main jobs. So the other jobs, dispatching, the trucks, they need to load up stuff. They need people who are calling and checking on the truck drivers. Hey, where are you? We need this load picked up and transport it to another place. They transport all types of things. They'll transport food, goods, they'll transport vehicles. So that's uh, in the driving field. So, and we touched on the medical field. You can be a doctor. You gotta go to school for that. Or there's carpenters. There's always need for new houses. There's guys who fix the roads. The construction guys. They pay them good. But that job is really hard work. As a construct, you have to be out there when it's really hot, or it's really cold, and you have to be working out there fixing the roads, because most of the roads, they need to be repaved, or they need to be uh, redone every other season, because when it snows, and that expansion and contraction, when it snows, it's so cold, or when it becomes so hot, so they need to repave the roads, or just undo them and do them. They need to fix the bridges that are falling out. So all those jobs they are really strenuous. They take a toll on your body, but they pay a lot. There's pilots. There's a never increasing need for pilots. Pilots are needed. You don't need to you can go to a school, you pay for flight hours. You find a job, you pay for flight hours, then they connect you. So I'm just going over, basically, for those who want to be pilots, there's a need for pilots. A lot of pilots are needed. They can't fill those parts. A lot of pilots or instructors, they need teachers to teach kindergarten, primary, I mean high school, elementary school. Teachers are needed. uh there's those there's salesmen at the mall. They need people to be there at the mall managing. They need managers at the food stores. uh they need engineers. There's always new constructions going. Interior designers, they are needed. uh, Rich people are big on interior designs. Art, if you know how to draw, there's and you see, in other countries they don't really appreciate art, but over here art is a big thing. I've been to places where people have drawings that are $300,000. So do the math. Drawings, and they just don't have one drawing in their house. It's like 4 or 5 drawings, and they're averaging 300,000. So if you know how to draw, man, yeah, it's big money here. Art is big money. Music, they need music producers. There's a lot of people trying to sing, trying to rap. Music producers, videographers. They need guys who there's people who mow the grass. Americans love to keep their stuff clean and looking nice. People to cut the trees, mow the grass. They need people to pick up trash. You pull up in a dumpster truck. You pick up the trash from the neighborhoods. They need people to clean vehicles. Man, I can go on and on. So engineers, CEOs, programmers, IT guys. They need air traffic control guys. Those they pay air traffic control. They pay you a lot of money. It's not a joke. They give you big money, but that job yeah, you gotta be 100%, because it's demanding. You don't want to be controlling traffic in the air and you make the planes crash. So they pay you big money. It's one of those high paying jobs. Then the nurse, there's a good evening. I mean, I don't know what you're saying. You don't believe you're gonna live the American dream, man. It's not, it's living your dream, man. You change it to living your dream. It doesn't have to be American dream, because there are people who are living their dream and they're not in America, but you can equate that to an American dream, because the American dream is that, like, financial freedom. You have a house, a vehicle, and a job, and you're able to meet your needs. But different people have different definitions of the American dream. Some people think American dream is coming to America. Some people think American dream is having a lot of money. So it's just define what you mean by your dream. You can have your American dream anywhere. You don't have to be in America. But yeah, so so those are the main jobs, guys. I mean, you can go on and on, and yeah, and those high jobs, lecturers, you know yeah, all those jobs, a lot of them. So that's just about it. If you guys have any more questions, just leave them in the comment section. I'll try and answer them as much as I can. I don't say I know everything, but at least I know enough to be able to give you guys the information. So I'll talk to you guys. It's Mshamba Marekani.